Welcome! This website was created in honor of Henry David Thoreau. This video provides you with an introduction to a truly fascinating person, both on paper and in life. Henry David Thoreau was a New England transcendentalist and one of America's most famous essayists, poets, and practical philosopher. He is best known for his book Walden, a reflection upon living in simplicity, as well as his essay Civil Disobedience, which criticizes American society, politics, and most prominently slavery and the Mexican-American War. But let's start at the beginning. Henry David Thoreau was born on July 12, 1817 in Concord, Massachusetts. His father, John Thoreau, owned a business that manufactured pencils. His mother's name was Cynthia Dubar, who had 3 more children besides Thoreau. Between 1833 and 1837, he studied at Harvard College, visiting courses ranging from philosophy to science. 5 years after his graduation, the college offered him a master's degree for the price of $5. He declined it with his legendary saying, "Let every sheep keep its own skin," which was the material for a diploma back in time. After graduation, Thoreau met Ralph Waldo Emerson, another famous poet and leader of the Transcendentalist movement of the mid-19th century. He was his mentor for 14 years and introduced him to a circle of writers, such as Margaret Fuller or Nathaniel Hawthorne. Through his influence, Thoreau began to quarterly publish essays and poems in a periodical called The Dial. His first essay published was Aulus Persius Falcus, dealing about a Roman playwright. In 1844, Thoreau started to work in his family's pencil factory. During that time, he invented a grinding machine that made better quality plumbago, which is used for pencil leads. After his father died, he took over the company. Back to his hometown, Thoreau's rebel side was once more revealed when he and a friend accidentally set a fire, destroying around 300 acres of the Walden Woods. When Thoreau felt the need to focus more on his writings, he began his 2 years, 2 months, and 2 days experiment of living in simplicity and in connection with nature. For that, he built a small cabin out in the forest owned by Emerson. In his famous book Walden, published in 1854, and based on his time spent in the cabin, he explains, "I went to the woods because I wished to live deliberately, to front only the essential facts of life, and see if I could not learn what it had to teach, and not, when I came to die, discover that I had not lived." The American poet Robert Frost describes Thoreau's works as in one book, he surpasses everything we have had in America. In July 1846, when he passed the local tax collector, he was asked to reimburse 6 years of delinquent poll taxes. Because of his fighting against slavery and opposition to the Mexican-American War, he refused to do so and spent the night in jail. Against his wishes, he was freed the next day, when his aunt paid the taxes for him. This experience ultimately influenced him to write his essay Resistance to Civil Government, also known as his famous writing Civil Disobedience. It was published in May 1849 and, as mentioned earlier, deals with American politics and society. He ended his time at the Walden Pond on September 6, 1847. In the following years, he followed his passion for natural history and botany as a land surveyor, which laid down the foundation for his later writings such as Wild Apples or Autumnal Tints. After John Brown's raid on Harper's Ferry in 1859, Thoreau wrote a key speech, a plea from Captain John Brown, which backed up the abolitionist movement. By that, Brown became a martyr to the movement, and as some say, without him there would have not been a civil war. When Thoreau's health declined due to tuberculosis and bronchitis, he spent his remaining time revising his unpublished writings. When his aunt reminded him to make peace with God, he responded, "I did not know we have ever quarreled." Thoreau died on May 6, 1862, at the age of 44. The newspapers widely reported the news of Thoreau's death. The obituaries describe Thoreau as an eccentric author and one of the most original thinkers our country has produced.